Well, let's talk a little bit more about, or not a little bit more, but switch subjects a little
Sure.
bit and talk about the consent calendar that County Council has enacted. First, tell me what a consent calendar is.
Sure. Earlier this year, I took over as president at the first of the year, and I brought up in the January meeting to County Council that there seemed to be a lot of duplication in conversation. The front part of our agenda is approving the minutes at the last meeting, approving the financial report, and approving grants and salary ordinances. Now, the minutes, there's hardly ever discussion on those minutes. The financial report is just documentation that we're approving. The grant requests, it's interesting, just one of the ways our offices are set up, County Council has to approve that a department can apply for a grant, and then we have to approve it when they get the grant. So we're talking about the same thing twice, and it was taking up a lot of time and being in a very duplicating way. And also for the salary ordinances, all of those salary ordinances and all those discussions are already taking place in the Personnel Committee, which is also a public meeting. So sometimes we're having the same conversation 3 times. The consent agenda was really just an attempt to consolidate the things that we were already discussing in some other venue or that are just the council receiving a report and putting them together under one motion, really because I thought we were wasting time by talking about it over and over again. Now, all of the items that are on the consent agenda are listed as a part of the agenda, and they are also listed in the minutes. And one of the things that we did, or that we're doing, is we're going to put the entire notebook of information that County Council receives. We already put the agenda and the minutes online, and the auditor's office scans in all of the notebook information for us. County Council members receive it electronically. We agreed this morning that we're going to put that on the website along with the agenda. So everybody in the public will have just as much information as we do as we're making the decisions. Mm-hmm. Our intent with having a consent agenda really was to streamline the meeting. And not to short-circuit conversation. And part of what happens with a consent agenda is when you have one, the first conversation before you approve the consent agenda or before you make a motion to approve it, does anybody want to pull something off of the consent agenda because they want to discuss it further? And at that point, any council member could say, yeah, I think we ought to talk about this a little bit more. So,
and
yeah.
Those items, they are listed, so it's not like they're hidden.
That's right. They're all listed there, and if anybody has any comments or concerns about any of them, we're happy to talk about them. We were wasted a lot of time just talking in circles about things, and I wanted us to have time. In my mind, what County Council should be talking about is the big picture issues. Things at the tail end of the meeting today, we talked about land banking and shovel-ready sites, and what are the things that our county should be doing to be more proactive as we think about economic development and attracting jobs and growing the economy in our county. If we spend a bunch of time approving things that have already been approved in another meeting, then we don't have the time to talk about what I think is really important.
And you're also taking away from staff time.
Absolutely. When we had each of those items as a individually approved discussion item, then the staff people that it concerned had to sit through the whole meeting till it was their turn to appear. So it's wasting their time. They're saying they're repeating a presentation that they've already made at least twice. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. But and this feels much more efficient. It feels like we're using our time more effectively, and we're having that time. Not only are we allowing those department heads to actually do the work that they want to be doing instead of sitting through a county council meeting, but we're giving county council members the time to talk about the big picture items that we really should be focusing on.
Okay. Anything else going on with county council?
We have a really nice surplus right now, and we're talking about how, again, big picture, how do we focus on that and make sure that we use it in the wisest way possible. We have had discussions about rebating some of that to the home-owning taxpayers in the county. We do not have full support of all council members to do that at this point, so it has not come up as a formal agenda item. We're talking about using some of those funds to do land banking and economic development projects. We talked about whether or not we should invest some of those funds. We know down the road that we're going to have to replace the entire communication system that the public safety department uses. That right now looks like it's going to be a price tag of about $10 million. We need to be setting aside money to do that. So there's a lot of, again, it's nice to be in a spot where we can be proactive about how we do those things rather than reactive. It's nice to have the funds available to pay for the expenses that we know are coming. We're in a really good spot. It feels good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Paula, we appreciate your time.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.